Hey everyone, it's CurlyHairedHero and welcome back to Prince of Tennis 2005 Crystal Drive. We're in the semi-finals of the Open Cup doubles tournament. Today we're taking on Jin and his only fan, Dan something or other. We face off Dan for the first time in the top of the lefty tournament. He was actually the first competitor we took on, and he's also what we got for completing that tournament, which is kind of whatever. And Jin is also infamous because we had him as our partner. Thank you. During the first couple of the first season, I think it was, and we were using. Who the hell were we using? Forgot who it was that was actually we were actually using. I set up two guys and it was nearly impossible to make them do anything together, and that's because of the way this game works. With doubles, you have to sort of feed up your doubles partner so they don't fucking suck. I did not do that, which resulted in Jin being complete ass. 90% of the time he would barely hit the ball, and then on top of that he would never use any specials or anything of the sort. But nonetheless, we've gotten that all out of our system now, and doubles isn't as bad. The only problem I have with doubles now is that it takes a little bit too long as opposed to singles, and you know, I just kind of enjoy singles a lot more. I feel like I can sort of focus more on why I like tennis strategically, whereas like in doubles it's more or less a different game and there's different things I need to keep track of. Like, for example, I think one of the main reasons why I really like singles instead of doubles is just because I specialize, I guess. Like, one of my main skill sets or abilities or whatever you want to call it, the only thing I'm really good at in tennis is being able to chase the ball down, and that's kind of difficult to do in a doubles match because there's someone else on the field. So you gotta also have I was gonna say ring awareness, but that's, I believe, from Hajime no Ippo. It's not ring awareness, it's more like court awareness of where the ball is going and where your opponent is, but you also have to do that for two other people, which, you know, isn't the worst. I mean, people do it obviously, but it doesn't mean that it's the easiest thing for me to do, which is ironic because I was actually the first doubles in my high school tennis team, which was the first time I ever played tennis ever, period. But speaking of playing tennis, last time I went over the serve and sort of the difficulties I've had with it, or I've gone over the last two episodes of the difficulties I've had with serving and why I think that is, and what I think it is that I can do to improve on that. The other thing that I really apparently need to improve on is my backhand, which makes a lot of sense because aside from the fact that the backhand itself is very difficult to sort of master when you know, you're a new player, it's also one of the things that I've struggled with a lot throughout my quote-unquote tennis career, just because of the fact that, similarly to the serve, nice, get fucked, I have this issue where I don't understand how the backhand works, like, more so than the serve. The serve, I kind of get the motion down, I'm just having difficulty actually imitating it. But the backhand, like, I just can't, you know, visualize it good. I have no better way than saying that than just good, because I'm a very sort of visual person, so if I can't sort of visualize how something works, when it actually comes to me trying to do the thing, if I can't picture myself doing it, I'm not going to be able to do it. That's just how it works, you know? So that's, especially with the backhand, it just feels like such a weird, awkward motion, and like, I've spent a lot more time now with it, so I have a better understanding over it, especially after, you know, several different coaches telling me what to do, and several different videos, and watching several different backhands, and all this. Wow, he actually got that. All this kind of stuff. I was gonna say the secret is to throw it as quickly as possible because he's gonna be too busy bugging out about his headband falling down for him to actually be able to hit the ball. Yeah, I have a better understanding of it now. So what I've gotten down to it is now it's a get fucked. Is that it's similar to the forehand. The only thing is that I have to step in with my right leg because I'm right-handed, so I step in with the right leg while I turn my waist to the left-hand side, clearly, and I also turn my arm with the racket to that side. In order to make up for the sort of rotation that I can't really do because of the fact that it's from the backhand motion and that the ball needs to go forward, not to the side, I need to sort of figure out a better swing trajectory in terms of like bringing the ball like coming from lower and finishing up in a better position. Because one of the things that I used to always really do is that, one, I never really got the grip for the backhand effectively. And two, the other thing was that I would always end up just doing a just a slice, because that was easier for me to just sort of snap my wrist for a backhand and then just somehow magically get it barely over the net. Somewhat all or nothing, because presumably get fucked. The slice would make it so that the ball is low and, you know, bounces erratically and stays close to the net, so it's difficult for my opponent to return it. Whereas if they did return it, I would be at a very shitty position because I kind of probably placed it really well. And also, I most likely fucked up because flicking your wrist to just slice the ball doesn't always work. And also, it isn't great for actually good shots that come at you. Like maybe, you know, random medium-paced shots or something like that, but something fast-paced it wouldn't really do. So I've gone away from doing that, and then I had this sort of weird, awkward motion where it's somewhere half where it is now, where I would, you know, turn my body correctly rather than just kind of snapping it, because I had this whole thing where I would return a serve from the backhand, and then I would always feel like the ball would hit the racket, and then my racket would kind of like bent out of shape. And then I would not be able to actually return it because they would just end up getting dead in my court, or my side of the court. So I eventually learned how to get a good grip on it, and then after that I learned, once I got the grip, the actual swing, because I would kind of swing just with my arms and the ball wouldn't really go as far as fast as I would really want it to. So I managed to put more into my body into it. The only problem is that I couldn't really get all that to work, get fucked, as great and as fluent as I wanted it to. So I've learned to sort of go from lower and, you know, from high to low, and then also sort of this weird thing that I did when I did this stroke of the week thing where they focus on a specific stroke during that week. If you know, if you obviously didn't already get that from the name of it. But he told me, I guess he must have sensed that I was some kind of weeb, but he told me that, you know, you gotta like turn over and kind of go through it as if it was a samurai sword, and like if I was chopping off his head, which is very weird, but it stuck with me, so it must have worked. But basically what it was is my stance had to be a lot more sort of withdrawn, so I had to, you know, bring the racket down more and then just make a cleaner cut. Whenever it was that I would go for the wow, mad unnecessary, but okay. Nice. And then another thing that I learned this prior, was sort of the follow through or the finish for it. I kind of got more down, but then recently when I went over to the USTA, or rather the Billie Jean King Tennis Center, I got it down where it was more where I'm able to open my chest more for the follow through, but not go all the way through where I swing through and fuck up my rotator. But I get a good range of motion. It's kind of hard to explain all of this without me actually doing it, which is what I touched on last time, which I'm probably better off at being. Oh my god, bro, I forgot he was in super mode. Which I'm probably better off being a coach, because I'll probably be better off in doing things than actually playing it, but I'm also not good at sort of explaining things. I'm more good at showing things. I'm not really good at doing things either. Like, it's a fuck. It's a clusterfuck. No. It's only 15-15. Oof. Come on, Tachibana. Get your head out your ass. Got me over here working triple time. Get fucked. I gotta stop saying that. I've noticed that pretty much all of my other videos every single video that I put up almost gets blocked for not blocked, but it's deemed not advertiser friendly, and that's probably just because I say, you know, fuck and stuff quite often. So automatically the AI is like, no, 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 that's no good. So I'm like, all right, well. But the good thing about it is that, like, I was complaining about it beforehand, but it's actually a pretty good system. The request review system, because I'll do that, and then it'll request a manual review, assumingly someone will actually look over it. But every time I've done it, whoever looks over it is kind of like, yeah, no, it's cool, man. So I just get the thing back. And since I'm a relatively minuscule, unimportant channel, I don't really gain any views, or I don't gain the majority of my views when a video goes up. It's just over time when people find it, for whatever reason they find it, that's when I would get any sort of views from that. I can't even say revenue because I don't make any revenue, but that's how it would work for me. So it wouldn't really affect me greatly, because the problem with this system is that most people, they make their money or get their views when the video just uploads. And if you make it so that when the video just uploads, you dock their pay, they're gonna make significantly less. But for me, it hasn't really affected me, because aside from the fact that I don't make anything on YouTube, I don't get any of my views from immediately uploading, which is, you know, interesting why I even try wasting my time being consistent, because it doesn't seem like it really matters in the long scheme of things. But what does really matter is that if you're sort of marked as not advertiser friendly, it reduces sort of your likelihood of coming up on search results and stuff like that, or so I've heard. Which, I mean, I've heard it, but it kind of makes sense if you think of it in the grand scheme of things. YouTube doesn't really want you to be out there, and they have whatever they can to make it so that, missed that, so that you actually don't show up, right? Which is why I've been a little bit worried about that, because, like I just said, the only way I get any sort of views or anything is just from random, you know, what is it called? The random spots where the algorithm is like, hey, you saw so-and-so video, you might actually like this crappy video. That's usually what I think it is. I never understood why some of my Prince of Tennis videos did good. I thought it was either a combination of one or two things. It's either the thumbnails, because it shows the characters and they're somewhat recognizable, or the fact that my other theory was always the fact that I use the tag POT, which is, you know, pot, but that's because it's you know, Prince of Tennis. But I always thought maybe a bunch of stoners watch Prince of Tennis, or at least my videos, looking at pot. But then that's really a stupid fucking assumption for me to make, that potheads, they just go on YouTube and type in pot. And then they just get their gigs and shit and giggles off of that. But then otherwise, I really had no explanation. It's also probably just because it's something that I used to market a lot. I don't know if market's the right word, but I used to post my videos a lot on Tumblr. You know, tag it, Prince of Tennis, and all that shit. But I don't know if that actually works, and I also don't really spend as much time, or granted, any time on Tumblr anymore. Not for any particular reason, I just don't have that kind of time to devote to just sitting around not doing anything. Pretty much as soon as I started doing YouTube, I stopped doing Tumblr, just because I didn't really have that kind of free time. Similar with a lot of things, I didn't have that kind of free time, or I didn't have that free time to be on a computer, because I always have this sort of mentality of gotta record something, gotta upload something. Oof. So the only time that I really managed to get back on Tumblr was when I was suffering from anxiety, because it was a good way to sort of combat that, because I would just look at stupid images online and constantly scroll through, and it would help me distract myself from whatever was driving me crazy that day. Wow, nice chord. But since I don't necessarily have that issue anymore, or I have, I wouldn't say better coping mechanisms, I just really haven't had that issue. Because granted, my coping methods are pretty much the same as they were before, but I haven't really had those kinds of issues anymore, and since I'm still doing YouTube, I don't really have that kind of time to just sit around and do that. I used to also do that at work, but I didn't like doing it at work, because, you know, Tumblr's Tumblr, and I'll scroll down and just see like a giant dick on my fucking feed, and you know, I work in an office, so that's not exactly the kind of thing that you wanna have someone walk around accidentally see on your screen, right? And then also I started recently being a little bit more productive at work. Aside from the fact that, you know, work has picked up by itself, like my actual work has picked up, I've also picked up, starting last year, I started doing Udemy tutorials at work. So I was learning Unity and C# at work. So I was making a good use of my time there, because it gets really slow often. Like, it has its highs and lows, but its highs are really only when the semester begins, or if there's some sort of, you know, issue, which really only happened last year, ironically. But aside from that, it's relatively chill, unless it's the beginning of the semester, because of course everyone, we got the school rush in, but that only lasts about 2 weeks. And after that, it's all nice and chill for pretty much the entire year. So from September, after those first 2 weeks in September, oof, damn. From September until maybe the end of December, it gets a tiny bit busy, just because some people take winter classes, but not even that. It doesn't really get busy until mid-January, because then all of the people from the spring semester start up. But in general, the spring semester is a lot less hectic, because there's a lot less volume of new students than the previous fall semester. But, you know, it's not usually that bad. The only reason why it's been bad recently is because we're permanently understaffed. We also had a lot of our staff who was working a lot less hours. Now we have everyone. We have one more person, and we also have everyone working full time. So it's working out pretty well. Just like this match, who I'm about to go full ape shit and completely destroy Jin and Dan here. We've got a very weird tournament where it's a good player and then a random shitty player. I think Momo was before with Ann, because I think he has a thing for Ann. I don't really remember. Either way, they got their asses beat. That was relatively easy. I mean, they got a couple of good games on us. But in general, fucking Jin went ahead and used fucking 21 shots, and we got Dan using 10. Me and Tachibana had to use 6 to put him to sleep. But whatever. I just realized we had the same coach too. Stay fresh.